All right, let's talk about something that I think hits close to home for a lot of us. This is about the day you stop quitting on yourself. And really, it might just change how you see your own struggles and maybe even how you see yourself.
Okay, be honest. Have you ever told yourself you'll start studying in just 5 minutes, but then that 5 minutes somehow magically turns into 30? Yeah, we've all been there. You've got the books out, you're all set to go, and you just think, okay, 5 more minutes on my phone, then I'm on it.
And before you know it, that tomorrow you promised yourself shows up and it just feels heavy, right? You're weighed down by this guilt. It's this awful draining cycle. But what if the reason this keeps happening has nothing to do with what you think it is? I want you to really hear this. You are not lazy. You are overwhelmed. Just let that sink in for a second. This isn't about you being weak or not having enough willpower. It's not some flaw in your character. You're just carrying a ton of weight, and your brain is doing its best to deal with it all. So, let's get into it. What's the real reason you're stuck? What's actually going on under the surface when you find yourself procrastinating? Okay, so does any of this sound familiar? You've got this mountain of a syllabus to get through. You're constantly seeing other people's success stories on social media. You've got this fear of disappointing your family, or maybe it's the fear of failing again. Look, these aren't small things. This is huge pressure, and it weighs on you every single day. And this is what's so important to understand. When your brain is just plain tired from carrying all that, it's going to choose escape over effort every time. It's not weak, it's just exhausted. So when you sit down to study, its first instinct is to find a way out. And that escape looks like endless scrolling, or suddenly feeling sleepy, or just overthinking everything. It's not a sign that you don't care. Actually, it's probably a sign that you care way too much. Okay, now we need to talk about the motivation lie. This is one of the biggest myths that keeps us stuck. You know the one. I'll study when I feel motivated. Oh man. We wait around for this magical feeling, this jolt of inspiration to hit us before we can even start. We think it's something we need before we can do the work. But here's the truth, and it completely flips the script. We've got it all backward. The lie is that motivation leads to action. The truth? Action leads to motivation. Action is the engine. It's that tiny, small act of just starting that actually builds the very momentum you were waiting for in the first place. And to really see this in action, I want to tell you about the last bench student's secret. It's a little story about a student who figured this out the hard way. So there was this student, right? And he always sat in the very back of the class. Not because he was a troublemaker, but because deep down, he truly believed he didn't belong in the front row. He thought he wasn't smart enough. And, every single exam he got back just seemed to prove him right. That little voice in his head just kept whispering, "I'm not good enough," over and over. It was this constant, crushing feeling that just paralyzed him. He'd keep telling himself, okay, tomorrow, I'll start tomorrow. But that tomorrow, it just never showed up. And then one day, after another bad test, something shifted. He wasn't trying to become the top student overnight. He just made a tiny deal with himself. He decided he would just try for 15 minutes. That's it. No big goals, no pressure, just 15. And check this out, that one tiny promise, it started to grow. On day one, it was 15 minutes. The next day, maybe it was 20. A week later, he's doing 30 minutes. A month later, a whole hour. Sure, he had bad days, but the key was he never went back to zero. He just kept showing up. And that was his big secret. He'd say, I didn't become smart overnight. I just stopped quitting on bad days. It wasn't about being perfect. It was about being persistent. His success was built on not giving up, even when he really, really wanted to. So that's a great story, but how do you actually use this? Well, let's talk about your 10-minute rule. This is a tool you can literally start using today. So here it is, the 10-minute rule. It's a promise you make to yourself to study for just 10 minutes. That's it. The best part, after those 10 minutes are up, you are totally free to stop. No more, and absolutely no pressure. So why on earth does this work so well? It's simple, really. You promise yourself just 10 minutes. You start without all that pressure. And what happens is momentum just starts to build naturally. See, it tricks your brain. It gets you past the hardest part, which is just starting. Once you're moving, it's so much easier to keep moving. And this is the real magic. Every time you show up for those 10 minutes, you are literally building a new identity. You are telling yourself, I am someone who shows up. And when you start to believe that about yourself, oh man,
That changes everything. Which leads us to the final piece of the puzzle. You have to stop quitting on the bad days. This is all about how you think about progress and, more importantly, how you treat yourself when you mess up.
Think about it. Progress almost always works silently at first. It's like a seed growing under the soil. You don't see anything for a long time. It's like your muscles repairing before they get stronger. It's like any skill you've ever learned. There's always that frustrating phase before you see any real mastery. You have to trust that the work you're doing now matters, even if you can't see the results yet.
And listen, your job is not to beat other people. It's not. Your job is simply to outgrow the version of yourself from yesterday. That's it. Stop looking at what everyone else is doing. Their race is not your race. The only competition that matters is you versus you.
Because at the end of the day, your consistency, that's what will change your life. Not talent, not luck, just the simple act of showing up, especially when you don't feel like it. That is what builds a different future. So what if this is it? What if this is the moment you stop giving up on yourself? You don't have to be perfect tomorrow. You just have to not quit on yourself today.